Welcome back to the Pitchin' a Tent podcast. I'm Adam Lowry, and with me is...
I'm John Schenkel.
And today, it's the same day as we're recording the first episode.
Yeah,
we're
if
just
you
mildly more fucked up than we were before.
if you listen to the first one, this is about 2.5 hours later. I'm looking at my wrist with no watch on it.
We talked about going to the Jade Fountain. We are now returned from the Jade Fountain.
We're back.
Back in my living room recording episode 2 of the Pitchin' a Tent podcast.
With no tent around us.
No tent, no cameras.
Not today.
We're still at rock bottom.
Still here, man. It's the same day.
Speaking of rock bottom, with us today is Chad Gallo.
Well,
Hey-o!
Another local comedian from here in Duluth. He is amazing.
He's fantastic.
Love everything this guy does.
He's been doing it for a long time.
He's a lot of fun.
oh, this is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
We know I'll give you a real reach around now and then, you know?
You're like 4'7". You couldn't reach.
As long as
No, I can't, but that's why I offer.
I've heard that Chad puts out, so that's why we brought him over.
From who?
I am a narcissistic whore. I will put out. That is on record.
Well, I'd
We
say
gotta-
you're narcissistic, but...
We got a free episode here, John. Don't
yeah,
fuck
we
this
do,
up
dude.
for us.
All right, fuck off.
I'm just kidding. We just got done at Jade Fountain, like I said. A
Yeah,
lot
dude.
of fun.
How was your set, Adam?
Oh, dude, I don't even know how my set went. I don't care how my set
I don't know. We didn't either. We were talking back.
I was, to be fair, I was talking with Chad through your set.
Oh, hell yeah, because I was going to ask you how mine went, but I don't need to ask you because I know how the 4 people in front liked it.
Chad and you were talking through my set.
Yeah, and you and Chad were
Me
talking
and John
through
were
mine.
talking through your set.
Presumably, you two were talking through my.
Yes,
so it all
yes.
works
exactly.
out.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
We've
Yeah, it works
heard
out.
it all.
We figured
Oh,
we
yeah.
needed to get this love triangle together and have a 3-way on the
Oh,
pod.
fucking
So-
A, right.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
This
I
is
haven't
great.
told a new joke since I think 2014. So that's really.
That is a hell of an achievement, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, you write one joke and you base your career around it.
Well, you have an ongoing joke that you've been doing for a while about McDonald's.
Oh, it's
very iconic.
It's a very disgusting work of art.
We are
but it
stabbing your brand loyalty. You're loyal to the brand of McDonald's, loyal to the soil, to McDonald's.
Only insofar as it's an infinite mind of comedy.
That is
right?
true.
The fact that McDonald's is still successful is independently funny.
They're coming out with I think they're doing a different. Like the parent company of McDonald's is opening up a different restaurant where they do drinks.
Yeah, it's a
Who the
coffee
hell
maker or
is...
something. It's just like a coffee restaurant,
Yeah.
and it makes no sense.
But who the fuck is the parent company in McDonald's?
It might just be McDonald's.
It is, and they
Okay.
and they
McDonald's-
have some
Because
independent.
when you said that, I'm like, who the fuck is above them?
At the point at the point we're living at in 2023, McDonald's is a parent company of the United States of America.
well, it's also
1,000%.
it's a parent company to McDonald's and Chipotle and a bunch of other restaurants, and then you've got the company that owns Burger King also owns KFC and Pizza Hut, and it's like Yum Foods, I think, is the brand.
That totally makes sense because I
And-
don't like any of those underling companies from Burger King.
Well, but you don't have to, because the whole purpose of the whole Yum Foods brand was just to let's sell Pepsi to all of our own restaurants.
Yeah.
And then gross on internal
Sponsored by
revenue.
Burnix Pepsi. No.
Speaking of none of the restaurants that we've brought up so far,
Yeah,
are
we've only
eating-
brought up.
We're eating a lot of Taco Bell,
eating Taco
which is
Bell.
owned by Yum Foods, which is the parent company for Burger King. So I
Oh
don't.
well, shit! I do like one of theirs.
You haven't lived until you've gone to Columbus, Ohio, adjacent to where I grew up, and you went to the combination Taco Bell Pizza Hut across the street from a 7-Eleven.
Okay, you're talking about a dream right now, dude. Like,
I'm talking about a very specific drug trip I had in the late 2010s. And it was that section of High Street on Columbus. It was absolutely beautiful because you would get a personal pan pizza with a taco stuffed inside of it and then walk across to a 7-Eleven and grab a slushie and a 1/4 ounce of weed. and it was absolutely beautiful.
And you would
It
still
sounds
somehow
beautiful.
feel like you were going to make it in life.
Yeah, well, and then I moved to Minnesota 2 years after that and regretted every life decision I've ever made.
And he's
Wow.
been here ever since.
Oh my
folks.
God.
You- There's something about going and getting a taco that's also a pizza and still being like, yeah,
I need
I'm all
something.
right.
Or just, I need more.
Yeah, I'm going to make it.
I was a block outside OSU stadiums. Like, you would grab that shit, walk into a Buckeyes game, and then someone would hand you a blunt out of nowhere.
That rules, though.
Oh, it was magical.
Yeah. What are you complaining about, Chad?
That I moved to Minnesota after
yeah,
that.
that makes
That's
sense.
the
That's a
complaint.
fair enough
That's
point.
I
But
walked away from that life.
But is Ohio legal weed now?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, do they?
Just,
Oh,
they
all
just
right.
passed
That's
it this
fucking-
election.
That's
Yeah.
rad, dude.
Yeah. Props to Ohio, you know.
Fucking, what was their
Republican government
Proposition
notwithstanding.
8?
No, it was Proposition 1, actually.
Oh, hell
And-
yeah.
And incidentally, that's what tells you Ohioans because Proposition 1 was legal weed and Proposition 2 was legal abortion. And that tells you like the moral structure of Ohioan voters is they'd rather have cannabis before legal abortion. And that's
Well, because if you smoke the cannabis, you might just
no, because
not
it was
get to
easier
that
to
point.
pass legal cannabis in Ohio than it was legal abortion. Because the Republicans were like, yeah, you can do drugs, but we're not going to let you kill fetuses. And that was
Amazing.
that's my political take on a podcast 5 states out from
Yes,
Ohio.
dude. Hell yeah.
Well,
Never been, might not be.
You shouldn't be. It's not great.
Speaking of smoking weed and fast food, we have here a 12-pack of Cinnabon Delights.
That's right.
And we would like to give you a raw, unfiltered review of some trash drive-through fast food. And here's the
10 o'clock
thing.
at
I
night.
like to recommend these to anybody that I meet. And notwithstanding, I make gourmet food for a living, and these are still some of my most favorite delicacies.
So the point I have to make is that I remember when they first came out with these, they had like the Captain Crunch ones.
What?
Yeah, they had like
We're too young for that.
You're blowing
dude.
my mind.
this was like 6 years ago. This is not even that old. It was like they had like the crunch
We
berries.
didn't have a Taco Bell 6 years ago. I don't.
No,
think.
you did because I lived here when you did this.
Okay,
And
then it was only on the hill, and I never went up there.
they had these like crunch berry flavored Cinnabon ones.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. My buddy and I who used to work with, we went through 30 of these a day. Like I'd go to lunch and grab a 10-pack, he'd go to lunch and grab a 10-pack, and then our boss would go to lunch and grab a 10-pack. And we would just eat through 30 of these crunch berry Cinnabon Delights a day.
Does your
That
boss
sounds-
/ ex-coworker need any roommates? Because I need somebody.
Yeah.
No,
who
what
feels
he
the
needs
same.
is a
Yeah,
liver
for real.
transplant because he's got the diabetes.
I mean,
Adam, you have roommates. You're right. You're making it.
it's a fair point. I don't think they appreciate the Cinnabon Delights from Taco Bell as much as I do, though. So that's
I mean,
I don't think they
I'll
appreciate
have one
your
now. I'm
comedy.
like, I'll dive into this and I'll be.
Yeah. I want one of those things too.
I need to hear this.
Okay, that actually still is really good.
Telling
That
you
is.
guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I've never had something bust like that in my mouth before.
It tastes like I passed out in a DDR machine in 2006. Like it's just. It's like that in a donut.
I'm eating it again.
Sorry for the ASMR, guys. It's fucking crazy.
Don't apologize for this shit. This is like
It's
enjoy
pure
this
magic,
flavor on my
honestly.
mouth hole. Like
It's pure greatness. Dude, if you can't acknowledge fast food and its greatness, where the fuck are you
Yeah.
in life? Because
probably a yoga class statistically.
no, they're probably making way more money than us and can afford to
We
order
live in-
a la carte. But
We live in a time and an age where we can drive and get food that is so shitty for us that like,
we want more of it.
we like we know it's killing us, but at the same time we are like, I like the way that it is killing me.
right.
I like the taste of death.
Well, but that's
doesn't?
life in the 21st century is like choosing the way you want to die. Because like people that want to continue to be alive in the modern era baffle me completely. Right?
So,
Like-
Chad, why are you still here?
Oh, suicide is really difficult, if I'm being honest.
I do agree with you though.
Because you got to actually follow through with it. Like,
Right. I haven't followed through with anything since grad school. Like, it's just not.
The average soccer mom who posts on Facebook their daily hike and how much they're, enjoying life, and they have 5 kids, and you're just like thinking to yourself every time you look at something like this, like, you should hate everything about where you're at in life. Why are you marveling at nature right now?
Well, it's like I had to do open enrollment for my health insurance at my full-time job last week, and the HR rep from corporate came down. She's like, "Oh, you're not signed up for 401k. Why not?" And I literally stared at her and went, "I don't plan to live that long." Because why would you? And she got like really offended. She's like, "Why would you say that? You're going to live forever." I'm like, do you want to live forever? Look at our options as a society, right? Like, I don't understand the people like, yeah, let's make the world better. But when your options on a political scale on a grand spectrum are a variety of geriatric fascists, why do you want to live forever?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Dude, I don't want to live to be super fucking old. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, that's a nightmare.
Well, like, I'm 34 with arthritis. Got the joints of a 70-year-old. I don't want to live to 50. I don't want that.
Oh, Chad, 50's still young though.
Yeah, for you.
70's old.
Because when you're 50, you're going to be 5'3", and the world is your oyster.
No, I am going down in height, dude. I'm at my peak, dude. You think I'm gonna hit 5'3"? What the fuck?
No, I did that math right. You're 5'5" now, I want to say?
5'2".
Oh, my God.
Like, I think that's what my ID
you
said.
inspected him from afar, and you still you're
Still suck
specifying that as doing math.
I was
You
being...
looked at him.
Well, I was doing a lot of countdown earlier, so I was doing a lot of very specific math, and I may be being...
Oh, I'm 5'3".
For
Five... Why do
5'3".
you have that on your phone? Why is that?
It's not my phone. That's my fucking ID.
Yeah, because you're going to trust your government's interpretation of your height.
No, I just trust what I told them to put on there.
You're saying that like a ruler is a government, it's a conspiracy. It's just like their rulers are different than the rulers I get.
Honestly,
time is
I think that it isn't. And it's only weird because, like, you've got, like, in England, they have in a museum what a kilogram is. And it's this very specific weight in a museum. Like, it's a specific bar. Like, that's
And what
the
is it?
kilogram. And that's, if it weighs the same as that, it's 1 kilogram. And I love the atomic clock is another great example. And somebody can correct me if my numbers are off here. But the atomic clock is they have a couple bars that a cesium atom bounces back and forth between. And then 1 second on the atomic clock is the number of times it takes a cesium atom to bounce roughly 28 million times between these two bars.
To bounce what?
So they take a cesium atom and they bounce it back. Cesium atom.
Oh, okay.
And they
All
bounce
right, you
it
said
back
that
and
really
forth
fast.
between these two bars in a contained space. And that's how they measure. Like, that's what the atomic clock is based off of. Is the
So what's our clock based on? Like,
if your clocks are synced to the atomic clock, they're based off of the number of times the cesium atom, like, it bounces like 2.8 million times. That's 1 second, and they extrapolate that out to 24 hours.
that's crazy.
Because it's not, because the Earth's rotation doesn't match 24 hours. It's roughly 24 hours and 54 and a half minutes, roughly. Again, people listening, correct me, because my numbers are probably slightly off.
And anybody listening to us won't be able to correct you.
I thought you were a professor of alkaline metals. You bringing up cesium atoms like you knew what you were talking about.
My degrees,
He does.
my degrees are in philosophy, specializing in applied ethics and axiology. But I study a lot of like other mathematical offshoots. Like, I've studied a lot of like proofs about infinity and atomic clocks and things like that. Numbers are super fascinating to me, which is why I don't get along with normal people, because numbers don't make sense to them. And that's the real hurdle in my life, particularly, is...
Hi, I'm him.
Yeah.
Like-
And then you walk up to normal people and you tell them, did you know that some infinities are bigger than other infinities?
That I know.
Oh, you know Gödel's proofs on infinities?
I know that an infinity can be bigger, but then again, infinity is forever, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's different degrees of infinity, right? So there's
So is it girthier?
no, it's Gödel's proofs from the late 19th century where you've got different cardinalities of infinities where you take the infinity of integers, positive integers, which is normally referred to as LF null, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the positive integers up to infinity. And then you take another infinite set called C, which is all the real numbers between 0 and 1. And there's a proof, and I can't articulate it very clearly because we're 4 burritos in right now, but it's the idea where
Adam's laying on the couch right now.
the cardinality of LF null, which is all integers from 0 to infinity, is less than the cardinality of the numbers in C. And the basic premise is like you can take any two integers in the first set, like 2 and 3, there's no integers between them, right? But you can take any two numbers, like you can take 0.049 and 0.50. There's an infinite number of real numbers between those two. So the cardinality between 0 and 1 of real numbers is uncountable, whereas the cardinality of integers in the positive integer set of LF null is countable. So that cardinality, even though it's infinite, is lower than the cardinality of numbers in C, which is the real numbers between 0 and 1. So there are different levels of infinite numbers.
Adam.
I think I kind of understand it. So
I'll bring my whiteboard next time you guys have me on.
Oh, we have grab the whiteboard.
it's kind of like Chad's favorite numbers are not even 420 and 69, and that is a problem.
No,
He likes numbers in between numbers, which aren't really real.
This is the nerdiest thing I've ever said into a microphone. My favorite numbers are when I was in 6th grade, I got bored and started calculating all the powers of 9, and my favorite number is 9 to the 9th power, which is 387,420,489.
Okay.
And I have that memorized because when I was in 6th grade, I did all the powers of 9 from 9 to the 1st to 9 to the 1,000th. And I have a notebook filled with these numbers.
Have you watched the Apple TV show Invasion? I think it's Invasion.
No, I'm worried that would make me feel like too
No,
much
dude,
like a
you
normal
are
human
fucking
being.
like to the T one of the female characters on that right now. Like when she gets stressed out and shit, she counts shit to the power of and like keeps going and going and going and going and going.
Am I supposed to take this as a compliment, Adam? Like I don't
know. She's famous.
Either that or you need to consider yourself one of the average citizens of China.
I really don't know
Crickets,
what direction to
dude.
take with that.
Yeah, that was wow. All right, should we get on to one of those topics I wrote down in the notebook before we left?
We probably should.
All right,
Should, yeah.
Childhood shenanigans, dude.
Childish shenanigans.
Dude, childhood fucking shenanigans.
Also, when I was in 6th grade, I used to do powers of 9.
Damn it. Did you fucking have any fun as a child, Chad?
When I was 15, I built a trebuchet.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, my
Okay. How big?
it had an 8-foot arm on it. I
That's
could
some
shoot
serious shit.
I could shoot a 10-pound bowling ball about half a mile.
Okay, that's some serious shit.
Yeah, my junior year science fair project, we were doing comparative research on medieval siege weapons. And so I built a traditional
Right up your alley,
Roman-style catapult, a mangonel versus a trebuchet. And the trebuchet turned out to be way more efficient, and not just because we had like better engineering for a trebuchet in the modern era, because I don't have horses to like draw attention on a Roman-style catapult. So I'd use a pipe wrench on garage door springs, and it turns out that doesn't transfer very well.
No. Like I learned bungee cord doesn't double as a swing in your closet.
No,
It doesn't. No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't work so great.
But a spatula handle is a great linchpin for your trebuchet. Because I remember for the materials list for my science fair project, we had a bunch of 2x4s, a bunch of screws,
That term is pretty problematic, though. A linchpin? Come on, dude.
No, that's what it is, though, right?
I know, but damn it.
You've got an eye bolt on the end of your arm for your trebuchet and an eye bolt at the base, and you've got a linchpin holding your eye bolts in place. And instead of, a regular linchpin, I had happened to find a spatula handle in the woods and decided that my linchpin for my trebuchet was, a linchpin attached to some nylon rope that I was going to pull out and shoot bowling balls into the field. The best story I have for this, my buddy Rico, who never came to my house after this for reasons we don't quite understand. We were doing the test fire for the trebuchet, and we were all like huddled behind a barricade we had made, except for Rico, who stood exactly 4 feet behind the trebuchet and not taking cover at the time. And we warned him, and he didn't move. So I pulled the rope, the linchpin fired. We were doing our test round, which was just like a Gatorade bottle. And it had launched prematurely out of the sling we had made and made direct contact with Rico's balls.
Oh, my God.
No.
He has successfully had 2 children after that, so
Wow.
kudos
That's
to
pretty
Rico if
impressive.
you're listening. But
Shout out to Rico, friend of the podcast.
yeah, Rico Suave.
Friend of the podcast.
Friend of the
Rico.
pod.
Yeah. Well, I've told this story one time on stage before, and not many times after that. I think it was just the one time because it got zero reaction in a room full of 6 comics and 1 audience member who was just like a coworker of a comic, But you were talking about childhood shenanigans, and one of the things that my family liked to do, or my dad liked to do when I was probably like 5 years old, and it was just my 2 older sisters, and I was the youngest in my family at that point in time. My parents bought a house. My dad was working with like a $30K a year budget as a teacher, and they decided to buy a house, which is
Fucking
what you do.
yeah, not.
But the house, it was a fine enough house, but the backyard of it was about like 20 feet, and then if you extended past that 20 feet, you would just be walking on the fairway of a golf course. So
That's pretty dope.
yeah, my dad worked at that golf course
Yeah,
part-time over the summer. So
So many free balls.
yeah. It would be funny just to like see somebody at tee off on like hole 6 or whatever that we lived by, and then I'd just be like laying in the grass in my backyard, just being and like put a golf ball right next to my head.
Hell
You
yeah,
know,
dude.
just fuck with the golfers or whatever. But
Dude, if I was you
Or
back
like if
then-
somebody landed a shot straight under your belly button while you're sunbathing, and they're gonna play it where they lie. Like,
Yeah,
full on Happy
dude.
Gilmore.
Hell yes.
yeah.
Dude, it would have been even funnier if I was you, dude, growing up there. I'd be launching other way. As soon as they hit, I'm hitting too, dude. Just fucking throw another ball out there too,
Yeah.
just to fuck with them.
Yeah.
Cause why not?
But there was these electrical lines that were also out there, and it's like a 5-year-old. That's like the highest thing that you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And my dad would like to take me and my 2 older sisters out at night when he got off of work, and it was nice outside. He would take a tennis racket and a tennis ball, and he would give us all baseball gloves, and we'd go stand out in the fairway of this golf course when it was closed, right?
Yeah.
And he would take the tennis ball and he would just launch it in the air, and we'd try and catch it, right? And one time I was like, Dad, like hit it over these electrical lines or whatever, and I'm like super far out in this fairway, and he just launches this ball like higher than I've ever seen anything go in the air before, and I just start booking it and try and catch the thing, and I go for a diving catch, and I way overshoot it, and it just comes down directly and hits me right in the balls.
Oh my god, dude.
And it is
Another
just the
direct-
worst pain that I've ever felt in my life as a 5-year-old
That's
boy.
2 nut connects, dude.
Yeah.
God damn. Oh fuck.
Well, if nothing else, we've got a title for this episode.
What?
2 Nut Connects.
2
Dude,
nut
2 nut
connects.
connects.
Yeah.
It's pretty outdoorsy sounding.
Yeah. Forget childhood shenanigans. Let's bring up childhood trauma. Chad?
Yeah.
Oh God, we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, we do.
Well, it all started when I was 6 and I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
Oh God! And he was
learned that
fucking your
late?
mom.
Ah, shit.
I mean, credit to my dad. He did wear the Santa hat. But that was...
So did your uncle, and...
Oh, God, that would have been worse. Because, like, none of my uncles are objectively attractive. They're hideous men.
I can
They are-
only assume by looking at you. Chad.
Yeah. Instead, you had to jump on that grenade and get fucked by your uncle.
There comes a time in every man's life
In every young boy's life.
when he has to set up the punchline to someone else's joke.
What other childhood shenanigans do you guys have?
Shit, dude. I was in trouble a lot as a kid.
Really?
Oh, fucking constantly. I mean, one of them, first time I got arrested.
Oh, of course. This is
You
always.
just softball that in there.
Yeah.
Dude. Fucking throw that fast pitch in. Dude, I don't. Dude, it was over some dumbass shit. It was over, like, I had a lighter. But, like, I was, like, 6. And I had a lighter I took from my dad's house. And, you know, I was showing, like, kids in the neighborhood.
What kind of cop is like?
No, dude, like, he came.
Did you
came,
get cuffed as a
yeah,
6-year-old?
Yeah,
For
no,
a lighter?
Yeah, no, like, for real, because it was some petty bullshit. Like, they were trying to scare me or whatever. Like, he cuffed me and, like, drove me up, like, 2 blocks or whatever, and then, like, dropped me off on the fucking side of the road.
He just wanted to make a scene.
Yeah,
in front of your
he wanted to
friends,
make a scene there or whatever, and I came
make
back.
an example of it.
Yeah, I came back looking better, but that was, like, the first time of fucking actually getting, like, cops on me, you know, called on me or whatever. But, I mean, like, same era, I mean, I had this neighbor kid, can't even remember his fucking name because he doesn't matter. But, I stole his bike. Like I took it right in front of him, just as, like, I'm gonna, like, I didn't steal it. I, like, told him I was gonna I was like, let me take this for a rip, and I, like, just grabbed it like a douche. And fucking, like, started riding up the block. He grabbed a fucking cinder block and threw it at me, dude. Hit me on the back of the head, dude. And I fucking, I remember steering into, like, this dude's driveway and just hitting the ground. And then I woke up, like, a minute later, I guess. I had a big-ass gash on the back of my head and shit.
So I don't know if this is like a Minnesota thing or just the fact that I grew up in, like, bumfuck nowhere in Ohio, but, like, I detonated military-grade explosives, didn't have the police called. So what
Yeah,
are
I
you
know.
people doing up here?
It's
that-
city shit, dude. It's city. It's fucking pussy-ass people, bro. Like, I've gotten away with worse shit. Like, way worse shit, but I've also gotten caught for bad shit, too. Like, I got caught stealing as a kid from, like, my neighbor's house.
Man, I
was
shot a
like fucking-
cannon at a bear. What are you people doing?
What? This dude, you're like the white trash crocodile Dundee, just like
Except-
living in a
except not
trailer
trying-
park and somehow has Civil War memorabilia.
My parents were out of town. My dad built a cannon. There was a bear in my backyard. I did what I had to do.
Except he's Crocodile Dundee, except for he's not trying to save them. He's just trying to murder them. He says, I will protect my home.
There was a bear in my
Like-
backyard trying to upset my whiskey and Cheeto time, and I'll be
Yeah,
goddamn.
He's 6 years old. He's got whiskey and Cheetos.
I-
Nano taught me right. Whiskey lips.
I was 15.
Goddamn whiskey gums and shit, dude. You know that shit started at conception.
Later, we found out that bear actually escaped from the circus, and that was all.
Oh, fuck.
Good question of the day: did you hit? Was it a potato can? What kind of?
It was an actual Civil War replica cannon
And
my
he
dad
shot
had
a
made.
bowling ball.
What?
at it.
Follow up question before we get any further: does your dad do Civil War reenactments? If so, gotta ask, what side is he representing here?
He does for the correct side because I reprimand him when he doesn't.
All right. Wait, so he's just like filled that
My
role.
father has certain inclinations that are not socially appropriate, and I have to reprimand him constantly to keep him on the right side of the Mason-Dixon line.
That is an interesting thing. Like if there's like a big Facebook group chat of people who are into like Civil War reenactments, and they have to split up who's on what side, and you end up picking the short straw and having to be on the south side.
It's the same, like where I grew up in Ohio, like you still see people like even in Wisconsin up here, like people this far north that are driving around with Confederate flags in the back of their trucks. Like you remember what side lost that war.
That is a fair point.
And
We're
they're the
losers.
deepest, some of the deepest north you can get in the United States, and they're still repping.
Whereas like even people in the Carolinas are like, man, that's not what's going on anymore, right?
Yeah. They just think it's Dukes of Hazzard. This is some Gen Z shit.
Yeah, but even the Duke boys now, in the context of history, would be like, maybe we should put a different flag on our Mustang.
I don't know if Sean William Scott and fucking Johnny Knoxville made another one, I wouldn't be unhappy. That was a good movie.
Look, if
dude.
Johnny Knoxville's going to do anything else, it should be to die in Jackass 7
Oh my
on
god,
camera.
would
that
be-
would be an ending of all
Just
endings.
imagine that, like you don't advertise it beforehand. It's the
No,
first
that is
snuff
the
film that
ending.
appears
Yeah,
in modern
Yeah,
history.
that's the end.
Nobody talks about it. You'd gross billions. You really would.
Oh yeah.
And no one can even be mad about it because it would be like that's a tribute to his art form.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if he died on camera, that's 100%.
You couldn't go any farther.
No.
Yeah. And
That
make
is the end game.
and somehow make profit for the all of your buddies and your family
In the process.
of dying on camera.
It's just the sheer shock factor of I've taken this to the most extreme level I can take it.
It would
Yeah.
have to be an extreme stunt.
Yeah,
dude.
what is the stunt that he what do
Fucking
you
Blood Eagle, bro.
I mean, yeah, Blood Eagle. We talked about Blood Eagles on the past podcast. If you didn't listen to it,
I mean, the worst problem is I immediately like jump back to the old like Mad TV bits, so, like fucking Will Sasso as Billy Rogers, where I just see John Knoxville going, "I'm Kenny Rogers, and this is bat fetcher trick with my teeth."
my
Hell
god,
yes,
that was the
dude.
first Jackass footage that I ever saw on the early days of
Yeah.
YouTube when my parents allowed me to just do whatever I wanted on the
God.
family
Remember
computer,
how-
the cursed
remember
family
how
computer that had 3 million viruses on it, but I
Remember how
still found a way to
crazy
use the internet.
was when we were young.
Nobody
Yeah.
Oh my
wins in the
God.
dairy challenge.
Oh my god, I can't.
I fucking missed.
I had no idea that was actually Johnny Knoxville.
It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Those were Mad TV sketches from like 2004.
Dude, my
Oh,
TV's
okay,
the
okay.
shit. That's where I found Bobby Lee, dude. When I was
Bobby
a
Lee,
kid,
Will
dude.
Sasso,
Oh my
Alex
God, bro.
Borstein, Phil Lamar.
Michael fucking the Stewie. He plays
Yeah,
Stewie. Michael fucking
Michael McDonald.
McDonald, yes. So I fucking love Stewie.
I do want to.
Frank Caliendo was on there for a long
dude,
time.
he's such a fucking goat.
I do want to circle back and ask you guys, what do you think Johnny Knoxville would do in a stunt that he is dying in? Like, what is that
What
stunt?
would it be?
Yeah,
Dude, it would have
Because
to
I'm
be.
never-
It would have to be like snowboarding down from the fucking peak of Mount Everest or some shit.
Or
into a just like a bowl.
Just launching off of it. Dude.
Or it's something really macabre, like it's just like stage 4 colorectal cancer. Like it's not a stunt. Like he's
No,
just,
yeah, he's just dying.
he's
Like
just dying of actual cancer.
I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is
Stage 4 colorectal
and this is
cancer.
chemotherapy.
exactly what I was going for right there. Yes, that's exactly what I was going
But
for.
nowhere in the middle. It's either snowboarding on Everest or
chemo,
colorectal
yeah.
cancer.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
nowhere in the middle for
Yes,
that.
dude.
Yeah, there's
Perfect.
no rollerblading with the bowls involved, and
Dude, we
this.
need to
It's-
pitch this shit to them. Like, he'll do it. He'll do
Johnny
it. Once he
Knoxville,
hits that age,
huge pitch for you. You need to get colon cancer.
you
It'd be a
need to
crazy
get
bit.
Any kind of cancer, dude. Any cancer, dude.
And they still snub Bam Margera like he's not allowed to carry the coffin. He's not
dude,
one of the pallbearers.
I've been seeing so much Bam stuff lately, dude.
That's not a good thing.
No, he's
No.
out and it does not look good. Like,
Well,
Oh man, alcohol ruined that man.
It's a weird dichotomy.
Fuck.
Where you've got the two real great skaters from that era.
Dude, he was good.
He was a great skater, but then turned into a shit human being. And then there's on the other flip side,
money, dude.
Tony Hawk, who people don't
Became
recognize
a
as
great
Tony Hawk
person.
in public. And
Dude,
like,
he's so old now. Holy fuck,
What
dude.
is he in
You
his
seen him?
60s now?
You seen him, man?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. You heard the stories of how many fucking bones he's fucking broken over the years and shit, dude?
Tony Hawk, Britain. If Tony Hawk came to me one day and told me that there was a bone in his body that he didn't break, I would tell him that he's lying.
I'm
I'd
pretty
say,
sure he's
"No, you're not."
broken every fucking bone. Dude.
Yeah.
It's insane.
but can still skate circles around anybody.
Yeah.
right.
That's insane.
The other skater that you didn't mention, and maybe he's even in an era before Rodney Mullen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
The godfather of street skating. See,
Him and fucking Stacy Peralta, you cannot leave that fucking dude out either, dude. Him and Rodney Mullen.
Do you guys watch any modern skating? I am into skating
seen that.
a little bit.
I mean,
don't
I
know
just
if
really missed 2002, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
That's fair
that
enough.
was a good time.
Fair enough.
I was
I was
young.
1
that
year
was when
old.
skating was hot.
You were one?
I was 1 year
Oh
old.
my
Yeah,
god,
dude.
See,
2002, dude. I was 7.
I had
I
the
was 13.
God damn, man. This old
13.
fuck.
I was already into the ska punk scene by the
Oh,
time.
hell
you
yeah,
were,
dude.
You were
Wow.
a fucking fetus by then.
Yeah.
And then,
Dude, I was listening to Rob Zombie at 8 years old, though.
well,
Like-
did you develop taste later, or was that?
No, I mean, dude, like, I learned all that stuff, like him, Slipknot. I was listening to a lot of different shit. I listened to like Atmosphere and Slipknot at the same time. Like, it was just all influences from family in Chicago and stuff.
When I was 8 years old, I was listening to like Avenged Sevenfold and Ozzy
yeah, Into the Rock.
Osbourne
Yeah,
and
rock, deep
Bullet
rock.
for My Valentine. And I remember being on that cursed family computer that I talked about before that was just in the basement next to my dad's.
Pop up.
Yeah. And I remember having the shitty family headphones and listening to this heavy screamo music, and my dad's watching the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's like, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "This is Bullet for My Valentine."
Yeah.
And my Christian
What a
father is
name,
just
dude.
like, "I
Hell
don't want you
yeah.
listening to that anymore."
He should have been like, hell yeah, son.
Man, I like my parents were listening to like fucking like Garth Brooks. I was trying to explain to them how Catch 22 and Straight Light Manifesto were almost the same band. Like,
So you were smarter than your parents, you're saying?
that's not a high bar to clear.
All right.
They're not bright
Talk
people.
shit about our parents here.
I will.
So how shitty are your parents? Yeah.
They're still together, so.
Oh, so they're great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
you're living
fine.
the
That's
life,
not
dude.
better. That's worse.
Well,
Did they stay together for the
I mentioned
kids?
before the mother who posts on Facebook about going on hikes and has 5 children and
Oh, is
should
that
be
your
hating
mom?
her life. That is my
Hell
mom.
yeah, dude.
But somehow she finds a way to tell somebody in every conversation she has that she loves her diet plan and is enjoying her life. I don't know how.
who loves their
It's an
diet?
oxymoron.
I don't know. She's so loyal to her diet plan, and
Jesus,
she's
keto.
more loyal to bringing up her diet plan
Does
than
she
she
know
is.
she's in the cult of Jenny Craig, or like what
She's
is?
in multiple cults, whether it be Jenny Craig or Lutheranism. Will
Has she talked to Kyle Barber?
Kyle Barber?
About fucking...
And lo, we shall watch the watchers of the weight and do as they dictate. For lo, the Craigs of Jenny have spoken.
Oh, fuck,
Yeah,
man.
My dad, he's great. I don't know. He runs a college, so good on him.
Fucking A, dude.
You know.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I got kicked out of that college. So.
Oh, you couldn't save you, dude?
No, he was.
I do believe that immediately.
Yeah, he
I
he
didn't
was
go
part.
to college,
he
so
was.
I never got kicked out.
See,
I got 2 degrees.
and I understand the position he's in, where
I'm
a
sorry,
random
Chad.
manila folder with a file about your son just randomly slides across your desk at, a Sunday morning, talking about all of the drug use and partying that one does on a Christian college campus, and you need to make a decision of whether or not he represents your values or not.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Talk about propaganda.
So I understand the position he's in.
Oh my God.
I mean, I guess the real question is, like, did you reconcile after that? Because that had to have been a hard conversation.
Oh, of course it was. I mean, that was part of the reason why I went to treatment when I was 18 years
Yeah, he
old.
was shivering, shaking, and he had a boner. That was the worst time of his life.
It was crazy,
dude.
yeah, and it was crazy that my dad had to be in the room for that boner part. But
yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, you can't just let it sit down at that age.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a weird situation being 18 years old and your parents being like, "Hey, it's between smoking weed or living at your house with your parents." So
Adam chose smoking weed.
I had some, I was like, "Hey, I'm 18 years old. I got a house by myself and
I was right.
live life."
Hell yeah.
I moved out when I was 20, so
2 years later. Oh, when did you
input
move
from
out,
Chad.
I moved out at 18.
Okay.
I went to college. I didn't move back. I spent 6 years in college getting 2 degrees. I moved out here to Minnesota, and arguably was the worst decision I've ever made. But here I am.
Sitting in a room with 2 idiots.
Yeah.
Well, 3 idiots. I'm also
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So that's.
I mean, to be fair, you're an idiot with 2 degrees.
But that's why
That's just an idiot with more debt, though.
Two,
That's
dude,
not.
two degrees of suicide.
The 2 degrees is what makes him the idiot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I have a piece of paper that cost me $140,000 sitting in a house that cost me $65,000. Like, it's not.
Fucking Christ.
If you're
Over
gonna
$300,000.
kids, if you're gonna go to college, do it for programming. Otherwise, don't fucking bother.
See, and I went to college for I wanted to be a film director and film writer, and
That can
now,
still happen.
So, kids, if you're gonna go to college, go for programming or don't go at all.
And see, I dropped out, and I dropped out before they even had a SAG strike because people were using AI to write their TV shows.
That's such a hack thing.
Yeah, but that strike's actually gone really well for the actors.
It better.
done a lot of-
It's got them a 4-year contract saying that,
isn't
hey, we
that
won't use
great.
this for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for unions, that's great.
For 4 years.
For 4 years.
Look, I was in UAW. I worked in a union for a long time. For you to get a contract that lasts more than 20 minutes, that's a good fucking contract.
So do you think movies are going to be going more independent or stay
I
in the...
think we're going to see more studios buying movies that they enjoy and represent what their studio wants to put out as, like, saying this is the art that we enjoy. And and by that I mean I think they're going to follow the A24 model, because A24 movies right now are really popular.
But I think if the Marvel Cinematic Universe has shown us anything recently, it's that people are really tired of formulaic movies. They want something that's artistically inspiring and creative, and you don't get that out of these formulaic
like Midnight
movies.
Somar.
Right, and you like AI is going to generate formulas. That's what it does. It learns off other things. So in
AI.
in the world of the arts, you're always going to have this market for new inventive material.
Yeah, and that's why I think there's going to be more studios that are picking up on like they're finding independent movies that are different from different festivals.
You're gonna see a resurgence of quality in your Sundance films, your IFC's films, and you're gonna see a lot of people who have these. I feel like in the next few years we're gonna have a new Wes Anderson, where somebody's gonna come out of left field with this real avant-garde take on everything.
Sure.
And I think that's gonna be good for cinema and art as a whole, but cinema generally is you're gonna get somebody who comes out new with this whole new perspective on things that shines a light on the shortcomings that modern media has been generating.
Do you not think that I feel like if there's anybody who's been true to the I think there's 2 directors that come to mind when it comes to like being true to what real cinema is that are still actually producing any films nowadays are Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan. I feel like they are actually very true to like actually wanting something on the screen,
and they have the benefit of already having an established pedigree.
They do,
where
yeah.
So does Eli Roth. He's good.
But
It's a little different, but I mean, his cinema is different than some of the others, to be honest.
he does more horror stuff.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
a totally different. Like,
Well, and even like if you're into the
area,
horror
but-
route, you've got your Jordan Peele and your
yeah,
Keegan Michael Key.
yeah.
Sure. Did you guys see the newest Jordan Peele
I
movie?
did not.
What was it called? I
I
forgot what it
haven't
was
seen
called.
any of them.
Really? Okay.
Us, right? Us
Yeah.
was one of
Us was
them.
really good.
Get Out
I
was
didn't-
his first one. Then there was
Get Out
was
Us,
great.
and then there was fuck. Why can't I think of that one? It was about an alien. It was like an alien suspense mystery movie. Ah, fuck.
And it's super bizarre to like reflect on his career. Like
Yeah.
he and Keegan Michael Key started on Mad TV together as like sketch comics, and to see Jordan Peele go and be this amazing horror director.
Well, it's not that surprising, but I do like because there's so many. It is like kind of a comedian trope to be like they're a comedian. They're such a wacky person. Like take for example, like Jim Carrey, and he is a very he has a very crazy character trait about him in a lot of his different movies. But
Then you have his Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
exactly,
and-
yeah.
Which is arguably his best movie. It's a phenomenal
it is great. Yeah.
So which one is it? Nope. Us.
Yeah,
Get Out?
Nope, that was the
Nope,
one.
Nope.
yeah.
But it's also takes somebody who was in sketch comedy for so long to then advance into the cultural zeitgeist as this phenomenal horror director.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard this said before. I mean, that horror is one of the better film era like genres to get into as like start doing your first films, because you can portray artistic like measures into it and like cinematography shots in those types of films where you can like get away with them more than say in like a drama or a comedy.
Sure,
or an
like you can
action.
use a French. I believe it's
yeah,
called a French angle where you tilt the.
tilt it, or and you can have them like really low walking in.
It's a
going
lot
up,
easier to
and-
implement things like that in
Yeah.
a horror movie because it just fits more and it doesn't seem as out of place.
Yeah,
Sure.
and it adds a little creepiness to it too.
Yeah.
But then it's also artistic.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if I was gonna make a first movie, I'd do a horror. But you'd have to make it really good, like believable, something that would actually happen in real life, something that could happen
See,
to
and
anybody, because that's what horror is.
when I was going to school for film, and my intended degree was media arts, a lot of my teachers were saying that good artists steal. So
They do. It's all this like repeating cycles.
and I really took that to heart because the first short film that I ever helped write and produce was basically just a knockoff of what was it called?
Was that one you
Dr.
sent
Strange
me?
Love, or How I Learned to Love the Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. But it was
Great film, yeah.
one of my favorites of Stanley Kubrick. I love Stanley Kubrick and all of his films. But it was like a black and white film of a bunch of guys arguing in a war room.
Yeah, that was the one you sent me.
Yeah, and then at the end, it's basically revealed that all of these men who are military men, the president, general, whatever,
Yeah.
they're arguing in a war room. It's revealed that they're just children playing pretend in their living room. And it's just a fun little short film that I made, but
If anybody wants to find that, it's called The War Room.
a
on
war
YouTube.
room, a short film by The Bigger Boat.
Yeah.
Well, but how many modern films are just subversions of old stories where like anyone can tell Star Wars in the traditional framework of the hero's journey, right? There's literary frameworks that have persisted for thousands of years for good reason because they're good frameworks.
Yeah.
And what makes them interesting is that you add details, or you make subversions on the frameworks that are good. Or you pioneer a framework that the framework is a subversion of establishing frameworks, right? Like we're at this point in I struggle to call it post-history, but I feel like that's the best word for it. We're like, we have as this human culture, thousands of years of history that we either have to reference or subvert in some way to either stand out or be significant in some kind of way. So like you could make a great movie if you took Homer's Iliad and then tweaked some details.
And made it more modern.
You made it more modern. You made it like, how many times have people done Romeo and Juliet? Too many to be fucking, like, you put DiCaprio in 3 of them, for fuck's sake. Like, it's insulting to that point. But it's, you take these tales that exist and you twist them and you subvert them in certain ways, and that's what makes them interesting to retell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
We should do that.
No, we can't afford DiCaprio. Let's be. Our
Adam Laurie is
our budget
DiCaprio.
is $12
Look
and
at
2
Adam's
burritos.
hair right now, dude.
I was gonna
That's
say, are you
capped right
saying?
there.
What are we talking about? Chad could seduce this man with a
1,000 times over.
wink of an eye and a snap of the fingers. DiCaprio's in your minivan.
I mean, if Leo's listening,
And a snap of the chloroform. But
Well, what are some of your guys' favorite films that you not necessarily like a childhood favorite, like that you would rewatch on repeat when you were younger, but like ones that were when you started getting into film and cinematography? What are some of your favorite films?
It's weird because when I did a lot of like film work when I was in college, my favorite movie was the worst movie I'd ever seen.
What is it?
Jesus Christ Vampire.
I've heard of this.
My God.
That's an amazing.
It's so bad.
It's an amazing
but it's
title,
beautiful.
but I haven't watched it.
It was filmed by a bunch of Canadians for a budget in the late 2000s of less than $10,000, and it's. I love how terrible it is.
Yeah.
But I love how terrible it is because as somebody who wanted to make movies at the time, I respect all of the shortcuts that they took.
And that reminds me of a. This is a weird noise I just made. Sorry. It reminds me of a. You ever heard of Who Killed Captain Alex? You ever heard? Yeah. If you don't know, you haven't.
No.
Okay, so it was I believe Uganda, where this film was made, and the budget on this film was $300.
Jesus
and about 90% of that budget was spent on the camcorder camera that they made on it, and they built a computer in order to edit this film, and they paid none of the actors, and they made all of their props on set just out of sticks and stuff. They left it to the audience for an imagination, and all of these people in this village in Uganda just made this film with this guy who had a vision and just enjoyed the idea of being a film director, and it's really just an amazing watch. On top of that, because obviously it's in Uganda, none of them are speaking English during the whole film, right. So they have a video joker, a VJ for short, who is on top of this entire film, translating and just adding his own little spice to everything. He'll just be like, "This is real action. I am video joker. This is Uganda filmmaking action movie." They're just saying shit over
like a really bad Borat on top of it.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
And it's just on top of, he's just saying a bunch of that on top of like 4 guys like walking or like doing a military crawl through a mud pile, and just like planks on top of them, leaving it to your imagination to understand what is actually happening in this film. Shit. And it's about 38 minutes of the greatest. So it's just an amazing watch. I definitely recommend.
What is it called again?
Who Killed Captain Alex?
All right.
Can I tell you the movie I hate more than any other movie on the face of the planet?
What is that?
It's Rubber is the name of the movie.
I've watched this.
I've heard of Flubber, but not Rubber.
No, because the problem I had with Rubber is I watched the trailer for Rubber, and the trailer is there's a tire with psychic powers that kills people and has sex with his girlfriend.
Oh, what the?
I'm like, I'm on board with this movie. Dude. I want 100% of it. And the first 20 minutes of the movie is like this sheriff climbing out of the trunk of his car, having an existential crisis in front of the audience in the middle of a desert. And then this tire just like kind of rolling around and learning that it is psychic. Like nobody dies until an hour into this movie.
My issue with this movie, have you watched all of it before?
I have, and I'm not happy about it.
It's been a long time since I've watched Rubber, and I'll give you that. But I do remember loving it as a 13-year-old who just thought that it was a funny. And looking back on it now, it is very annoying that it's just like such a meta movie. How it's like basically a movie.
It's a commentary on absurdism, right? And that's the problem with it. It was like I was promised off the trailer a movie about a psychic tower that kills people and fucks his girlfriend. And what I got is absurdist commentary and like maybe one murder and no actual woman on tire sex.
Yeah.
Woman on tire? I thought he was going to fuck another tire.
What platform is it? Was on Netflix.
It was on Netflix
for a
shocking
while.
The crazy shit Netflix used to have.
Yeah. I remember when Netflix was just like a subscription service where you could order a DVD online, and if you lost it, you would like your parents would scream at you and act like you're about to get sued for.
See, my mom was the only one that actually ordered the DVDs.
I remember when Netflix
I'm sure my mom still orders the DVDs from Netflix. You can still do that.
That's crazy.
You can still do that, dude.
My favorite thing about Netflix was a great way for people from Portugal to steal my fucking credit card number, because that was a fucking ordeal.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't mind it until fucking Steven kept changing my Netflix cues to fucking Portuguese romantic dramas. Like, just let me watch my nerd movies in peace, Steven, and you can watch whatever you want. But you can't fuck up my cue.
Just make a different profile, Steven.
Yeah.
God damn it,
Not only did he not make a different one, he deleted mine, and that was the worst part. Like, Steven, I don't care. You can watch my Netflix for free. I'm not going to harp on you for that.
Shit. Go ahead. Fucking use it. Just make a different profile and leave me alone.
Don't fuck my algorithm.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Don't make me watch Love Actually in Portuguese 12 times. I don't want to see it.
No, that's a good movie. It's just not in Portuguese.
It's not that good a movie.
I've seen it once.
It's arguably Alan Rickman's worst movie, and that's the hill I'll die on.
I do want to know what your favorite movie growing up was.
Growing up, okay, that still stands up today for me is Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride is such a phenomenal fucking.
Have you read the book?
Not read the goddamn
You should read
book.
the book. It's a great book.
I've read a couple of Stephen King books. I've read all the Twilights. Not proud of saying that. Fucking, I've read.
You sounded really proud to say.
I'm not though, dude. I did. I bought all of them. Hardbacks too. I cared at the time.
Hold on, not someone else had you read them. You went out and bought them.
I did, yeah. It was middle school, dude. They were hot.
You said the Twilight books?
The Twilights, dude.
Oh, man.
They were hot. New Moon sucked, but
hold on, let just to be clear, Adam, we're both upset about this.
Yeah.
We are.
All right.
That being said, I can't be too upset about this on a public platform because my sister does own an Edward Collins blanket, and she does brag about owning that.
Fuck her, dude.
Oh, so her and John have something in common.
Oh,
yeah, it's that they both should
Chad.
have been aborted.
I said I had. All right. And then I've read the Demonata, which you probably haven't even read.
I have not.
It's fucking phenomenal. You love it. It's a 12-book series, dude.
Do you count audiobooks as reading a book?
I've never listened to an audiobook.
Really?
Never.
Most of the time, it depends on who's narrating them, and that's a weird nitpicky thing.
No, that is true though, because I can't deal with people that some of those fucking readers do that shit.
An audiobook that is free on YouTube that I highly recommend is Pimp by Iceberg Slim.
Hell yeah. Dude. Hell yeah.
I believe Dave Chappelle put me on this book.
He has a Snoop Dogg wine bottle up
friend of the pod, Dave Chappelle. We've been in talks about having him on. Episode 3.
Yeah, he was in the cities.
We have a lot of traction since
busy.
episode 1 has been released. So
yeah, you've got a whole one guest by now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We're moving up from rock bottom a little bit, just slightly up. We climbed up a little bit and found Chad Gallo laying there in the dirt.
It's like I'm 7 blocks from here. It's a miracle.
Well,
You're way more than 7 blocks from home, bud.
we're giving a platform to guests that we think are gonna make it big one day, and so Chad Gallo and Dave Chappelle follow. If they are in that Venn diagram,
Yes.
we think that both Chad Gallo and Dave Chappelle have a chance of making it.
What is that? The 7 degrees of fucking how we can link from Chad Gallo to Dave Chappelle.
To that movie I was in with Kevin Bacon and Dave Chappelle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Half Baked wasn't all that bad, okay?
I was in Tremors 12 or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, how long have we been going for?
An hour.
Really?
59, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're there.
That's I don't think I've talked about any movies that I've enjoyed growing up since
you
we've
did,
been on that topic.
Yeah, you did.
Which one?
You talked about that film, that weird, obscure film, Captain something.
Oh, Who Killed Captain Alex?
Who
Yeah.
Killed
I
Captain
forgot
Alex,
about that.
yeah. But is that the one you wanted? Is that the hill you want to die on right now?
I guess
Some obscure fucking film that.
I think if I had to talk
15
about a
people
film
have
that like
seen in
really,
chat.
if I had to talk about a film that really got me into like cinematography and just enjoying the artwork of and like the medium of film, I suppose it would probably just be Taxi Driver. Just a very it's one that I had to I on the first watch I was like, this is kind of bullshit, I don't really enjoy this, and then I watched it a second time and I was like, oh, I see what they were going for. And
I tried to watch it, I couldn't.
Yeah, and
It's a lot more of a thinker than you would think it would be.
Well, it's
Yes.
just so slow.
yeah,
But
It's
that's the
slow
point
moving.
of it, though.
I know. But fuck, dude.
yeah. It's a tough watch.
Sometimes I just get fucking impatient, man.
You just have to put a
ADD and
different. You
shit,
just have to
dude.
put a filter on when you watch it and kind of understand kind of like
Where
that
they're
it's really
coming
just a
from with
character.
it, yeah.
It's really just a character study of
I
like
literally-
a man alone.
So here's a question from that same like vintage of films, like worst Batman. Who was it?
Don't you dare say Michael Keaton.
No, not Michael Keaton. Who's I don't even know who is in Batman Forever.
Okay, who's
George Clooney.
The new
Clooney? That
one?
was Clooney?
Dude,
That
Yeah.
was Clooney.
the
Not
fucking,
Not a fan.
Oh no, Forever might have been Val Kilmer because I think Forever was Val Kilmer and then Batman and
Was
Robin was
Forever with
See,
Iceman.
and Batman and Robin, I think it was obviously just in the same vein, just a very tacky '90s version of
because
Batman.
Batman
but I
and
do-
Robin
was-
was like what's her face as Batgirl, then you had Schwarzenegger as
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. He was the
and then
Mr.
Batman
Freeze.
Forever was the one where Chris O'Donnell showed up as Rum, and you had Jim Carrey as the Riddler, Tommy Lee
That was
a
Jones
good
as
one.
Two-Face.
And don't get me wrong, I love Jim Carrey, but that was probably one of the worst movies that he's ever been in.
Debatable.
But he was also probably the best part of that movie, right?
Have you
Val
seen
Kilmer
Yes
wasn't a
Man?
great
Like-
Batman.
No,
Tommy Lee
fucking
Jones didn't do a great Two-Face.
no. I love Danny DeVito as Penguin.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, that was
Danny DeVito.
DeVito's
And,
so
the Tim Burton Batmans
who
were just great movies.
who was the Catwoman in the original? Fuck, what was her name?
Who was Ivy back then, dude?
That was Uma Thurman.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Oh, she
yeah.
was
But that was after the Tim
Gotta
Burton
love Uma.
ones.
Friend of the pod, Uma Thurman.
all right.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just knocking off other comedians' bits. I am really curious about who this actress of Catwoman was.
I can't remember her name. It's
Yeah.
gonna bother
Sure
me.
as fuck wasn't Carmen Electra. I'll tell you that much.
No, it wasn't.
I'm gonna look it up quick.
Yeah, we got phones. We got AI. You know.
Thank God for them internets.
Yeah, we wouldn't have shit. Oh, let's see. Got any shows coming up, Chad?
I got one in January. I'm hosting Gopher Hole January 5th. Getting back into
Okay,
that.
January
Yeah.
5th. That's when that one is. Okay.
Got another
Do we know
one-liner.
the do we know the lineup for that yet?
I haven't been told yet, but that's
Okay.
above my pay grade, so I
Okay.
don't think about it. But
Yeah.
I get to host a room I love to host. I love that room. It'll be a good show.
It's
for
a
sure.
fun room, dude. I've played that.
I've
done
never
that
had a
room
bad
once.
show in that room, even when the crowd is slow. It's a great room to be in.
Definitely want to go back there. That's
Which
fun.
room are you guys talking about again?
Gopher Hole.
Yeah, same. I love that room.
I love that room. It's great.
Probably my favorite room in Duluth.
Yeah.
If we were talking about you wanted to know who the original Catwoman was. I wanted to know Michelle Pfeiffer.
That was Michelle
God
Pfeiffer.
Michelle
damn it.
Pfeiffer.
Oh,
Yeah.
friend of the pod.
You had to throw it in there.
I did.
Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. What else do I have coming? I've got a one-liner show coming up at some point. Roddy and I are bringing back the finals for the one-liner show.
Yeah, you got a spot for half a person on there.
I'm glad we played that out to the belch. That really.
Yeah.
No, we'll be. I'm sure we'll do a second round of one-liner shows after the final, but I will say the final I'm going to pour a lot of production budget into that I
bet.
haven't done before. So it's going to be a better show than we've ever put on before. As soon as we settle it, we don't have a date settled for it yet, or I'd plug it now.
Yeah, it sure ain't gonna beat the roast though.
I am sorry, and stop me if I'm triggering any PTSD here. I do want to. I don't think I've ever asked you this, but I am curious about a lot of the comics that have been doing comedy for a longer time. I want to ask them about some of their worst gigs that they've ever done.
That's good.
Oh,
And you don't have to name any specific venues or
would it
anything like that.
happen to be the train honking?
No.
Every fucking 10 fucking minutes during
no,
your
because
set?
it was the show before that was worse.
fuck.
Like War Road, I didn't hate because if nothing else, there was some fucking TikTok fodder there where I yelled at a train for 20 minutes. But no, it was definitely Baudette where the night before it was myself, Patrick Geese, Bob Astrack, and Comrade Tripp. Comrade is one of my favorite comedians I've ever seen.
I
He's
think I'm
very
friends with him on
deadpan.
Facebook,
Yeah,
but I haven't
he's
ever.
funny.
Absolutely brilliant.
He's very deadpan.
But I get mad when people don't laugh at Comrade because he's a brilliant
His
writer.
writing is fucking phenomenal, dude.
Absolutely one of the most brilliant linguists I've ever met in my entire life. So when people don't laugh at what he says, I get mad because they're stupid.
He plays
And-
to his writing so
100%.
fucking well. It's insane.
And we the night before we did War Road, which I thought War Road was fine, but Baudette, there were 4 people in that room. And kudos to Comrade for just giving up on his set and doing crowd work for those 4 people because it made the show. And the only reason I knew Baudette was bad because on our way to the Airbnb where we were staying in Baudette for the night, we went to the liquor store and we were ringing up our drink purchases for the evening. And I remember I was talking to the dude at the counter. We were telling him that we were the comics. And the dude working in the liquor store went, "Oh man, I heard how bad that show went." They were like, "We just left."
They've already been.
It was so bad
Hey,
that the
man.
liquor store guy had already heard about it before we got there.
All
Bad
the
gas.
locals have a Facebook group chat together.
It's like there's
man.
14 people in the town.
Yeah.
They've all already
Dude,
decided they had a bad
one thing
time.
you gotta learn is bad gas travels fast in a small town,
Oh
bro.
God, does it?
It fucking, if you fart in the wrong area, they'll know about it.
wow.
It's real. I grew up in a small town, dude.
If there were 2 things that were my segue for the takeaway from that weekend is one, Patrick knows how to book an Airbnb because that was a fucking gorgeous place.
Oh, I
for
bet.
the weekend.
I bet.
And it's 2, none of the local comics can beat me at Super Smash Brothers, so my title remains.
I would love to challenge you at Super Smash Brothers.
There is
I
a
was
Wii right there.
so before I got kicked out of college, I was on the esports team, and I was their designated Super Smash Bros. Melee player,
Who'd you play?
Falco.
What an what a
Who do you play?
Marth.
That's fair. Final Destination is. Are we playing a BO3? What are we doing? I'm banning FD.
Wait, you think you can beat Kirby, who can become you?
26 on the tier of 26. 26th character on the tier list of 26
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, for Melee, Kirby is F tier, I think.
Yeah, we're one of the worst characters in the game.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, he used to be badass.
It's just the thing about Melee is that the developers had such a short time crunch to get the game out,
Oh,
and in
yeah.
a state that was actually playable. It came out 2 years after the original Super Smash Bros. For the N64. They came out with a GameCube, and they were like, there was a lot of success for Super Smash Bros. On the N64. We got to have a sequel for our new, GameCube system.
Yeah, and your dev cycle time was like less than 20 minutes.
I like how they had Red Fox on that shit.
A lot of the characters on the game were just like, they have moves, but none of them work, so
we'll make a lot of clones. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So
we'll throw these Fire Emblem fucks in that no one ever heard of. It'll be great. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so and it is hilarious that like a lot of their answer to the games, a lot of the game's problems that they never really fixed over the course of the game's, the history of the title. Their answer to a lot of the problems is just adding more characters and more clones. I mean, how many characters are even in the newest?
78, I think, with DLC.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I've never been able to move past Melees, because it's just so much more simple, because there's less clones, less matchups that you have to, and we're probably losing any semblance of a female audience that we would have kept until now.
Hey, dude, there is female gamers. Do not put them down now.
I played Jigglypuff for the last 15 years.
And they fucking love Nintendo, okay?
Man.
Not after that sentence, they didn't.
All right. Fine. Get on the PC. Then.
I can't get behind what Nintendo has done to the Melee community.
No, Nintendo's been fucking shit up lately.
It's been really bad.
They've really been. They've been very unsupportive of their most loyal fan bases.
It's almost like they have a crippling grip on all their intellectual property.
Yeah. So
that makes it bad for independent development.
What? You like our game? Fuck you. We are the only people who can make money off of liking our game.
But we'll sell you a thing that lets you make our game.
Yeah.
But then you go to the opposite side of the spectrum. Fucking Treyarch or Activision has just been making the same game since 2000.
Well, in all fairness, that's basically what Super Smash Bros. Is. And
but nobody wants to buy that shit.
I bought
all of it.
Yeah, I bet you did. But.
A lot of Nintendo's formula in this day and age is basically just, leaning on the nostalgia of a lot of their original titles.
100%.
They're just coming out with new consoles for old games.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
With, HD versions of their old games and very good graphics. I don't know. That's why I just bought a PC, because
you can do everything.
You can do everything on that thing. And if you can't even, you can't necessarily play Nintendo games on there, but you can just fucking get an emulator to play any good Nintendo game.
Oh, yeah. The number of times I've done like Ocarina of Time randomizers on PC. It's just crazy.
Yeah. The only Nintendo game that I've actually that I've actually got an emulator to play is probably Pokemon Emerald. I got to get some more Nintendo emulators. There's some good shit out there. Actually, that's a lie. I have been playing Twilight Princess.
We've hit the real nerd part of my conversation where I've got a gamer server that play on where I do a bunch of archipelago runs where you have people doing multiple concurrent games at the same time.
I can hear you breathing.
Me?
It's really
my bad.
But no, so I was doing a Hollow Knight, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask randomizer with 21 other people, where everybody's items were shuffled between the games. And it took us, I think, 3 weeks for everybody to clear all their games because we were playing 30 games concurrently.
Jesus Christ. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. But
I'm the type of gamer who finds a game that they enjoy and then just plays that for like 5 years.
Oh yeah.
CS:GO.
Right now it's Counter-Strike. It used to be Melee. Now it's Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And before Melee it was Mario Kart.
Which Mario Kart?
Wii.
Not Double Dash?
Man, I was I was born in 2001. When I was like 7, 8 years old, the newest system that was coming out was the Wii. And I was like, man, I was like saving up all my chore money, $0.25 per chore, And it took me like a year to save up for a Wii. And I got that shit. And then I got Mario Kart Wii. And I played that every single day for about 2 years. Jesus. Yeah. It's a good game. It's a good game.
Is it weird that I feel better about me now by comparison, having heard that story?
I'm just happy you feel better.
Yeah.
Chad.
If there's anything that we can be proud of, it's that Chad needed to pick me up.
He needed
after
this.
you know,
Life.
I don't know what's been going
After
on in your life.
life, just
The
everything.
last 10 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
the last 10 years, Chad has needed something, and if it was an hour long of letting us say whatever he wanted to say, then so be it. If that's what he needed.
I mean, this is cheaper than real therapy, so I'll take it.
Good point.
Hey, man. And you're with people who don't give a fuck, so it's awesome.
I mean, people's a generous term for comedians, but
It is. But I'm in a generous mood right now, so I'll just leave it at that.
I feel like we've hit a conversational dead end.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, because I don't want to start another topic right now.
Yeah.
We'll
we
go-
are pretty
yeah.
deep into this pod.
Yeah, we're hour 15 in.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a
Um,
traditional sign off, or is it just like
No,
No.
not really. We can plug shit.
Yeah.
'Cause it'll be
we
the
already
same.
plugged.
Yeah, it'll be the same as
it'll be the
last
same
step,
as last step,
basically.
yeah.
But a week later.
The only thing that I really feel for myself that I feel is worthwhile plugging right now is January 20th roast battle.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I have planned.
Yeah. Same here. Me and Adam will be fighting for the glory of the championship of the roast battle.
Yeah.
And we are on opposite sides of the bracket. So hopefully we can meet in the middle and trash each other.
So you were, and I don't mean to bring up another topic. If
Yeah,
you
no, we'll go.
you
fucking
were
let's do
a
it.
judge on the last roast battle.
Yes,
I was.
Chad.
And I was in the last roast battle.
you were?
We are switching up the format this time. What do you think of that? I don't know if you've heard of what format we're running.
If the format is the audience is judging, I think that's the correct format.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Pat's going to be in the audience with a
decibel meter?
Decibel meter, yeah.
Because if there's one thing I learned about judging the past couple roast battles is that the audiences hate everything the judges have to say.
Yeah.
And I think they're a better barometer of the savagery that's going to come out on stage.
Yeah.
Because I think when you have comics judging a roast battle, they're judging the content of the jokes. They're judging structure,
Yeah.
they're judging form and things like that. And that's not what the audience wants to pay attention to. The audience wants to see blood.
Yeah, they do. And that's why I told everybody, I'm fucking coming at them, you know.
100%, yeah. And I think that's a better way to do the show, and I think it'll be a better show for it. And not just because I don't have to be contractually obligated to sit on the stage for an hour and be bored
Yeah.
out of my fucking mind.
Even though it would be nice to have some judges up there just on their opinions, even though none of their votes fucking matter.
It would be better at that point to have a really opinion. Like, who's hosting this one?
Be Sam Schwartz.
Yeah, no, he'll be a good host because he'll be opinionated about it. He'll give fodder to the crowd. And I think that's better than having somebody sitting at a judge table who has nothing to contribute until one of you says something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I thought you were a pretty good judge because I feel like you played the straight man pretty much the entire.
I was going out of my way to play a heel there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I've said this before on pods, where it's like the other judges were also trying to play heels. And like, we can't
do that.
We
Yeah.
can't be three heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to have your Paulo Abdul to your Simon Cowles. Like, you
Yeah.
just have to. And we didn't have, and it like, yeah, we didn't coordinate well as judges, so that maybe like behind the scenes, that's on us.
That also
Yeah.
was the first one.
No, it
Wasn't
wasn't.
it? Or was
was
that the
a-
second
third
one?
time
It was a
we did
third.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you just had beyond you. Who else was on that panel? Was it
Justin Rademacher
Justin.
And
James
fucking
Murphy?
James Murphy.
Yeah.
James Murphy? I feel like was a bit of an inexperienced pick.
Yeah,
That being
you
said, I
think?
wish I've seen him. I'd seen him out more. He's not.
He's not
he's
showing
not
his
coming out,
face,
man.
dude.
He was
I
funny.
haven't- He was, you know,
Well,
besides.
and
yeah.
we do have a problem where we've got a limited talent pool to pick from too. Is the other
Yeah.
problem. So you've got
He's busy with college though too. Like
Yeah.
I ask K every time I see K-Wad, I ask about James. So like, I mean, last time I asked him, he hadn't seen him in a little while. He said he's been doing like school late and stuff.
Yeah.
So hope he shows up again at some point. But we can't dwell on other comics not devoting time to the craft. So
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we have comics not devoting time to the craft right here. We can't dwell on the others.
yeah, Chad. He said he hasn't written a joke in 10 years.
Man, I've got books I'm working on. What do you want from me?
Ooh. Do you have any books that you're trying to get published?
I'm very early on the stages of a manuscript that I'm not comfortable really talking about yet.
We won't.
Okay. Are you comfortable talking about how many pages you've written on it?
About 80 already.
80?
It'll probably be into the 600 to 700 pages by the time
Jesus.
it's done.
Whew.
So this will be done right on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Hopefully very adjacent to, because if it's published posthumously, it'll be a lot more successful.
Oh, that'd
so
be
that's
as long as you sign over the, earnings from that to me and Adam,
Yeah.
we're
We were
good.
the first podcast to put you up. Or to
I mean, if you want
promote
$12 and half a burrito, by all means.
Hell
I'll
yes.
take whatever I
I'll
can
take
get,
it.
Chad.
I'm a starving artist right here.
Goddamn right. I can only afford Taco Bell, so
Yeah.
So if one of you can write a foreword to my book on population ethics, we'll talk about licensing rights.
population.
Oh,
okay.
God. Population ethics.
Yeah.
It's not,
How
we're
it
not-
should
we're not
fucking
getting into eugenics
diminish
here,
or
are we?
what?
No, we're not.
Okay,
No.
good.
Well, the population is too high and
No,
it
it's
needs to get lower.
it's general structures about value theory and things that if we start talking about, we'll have to start another episode on it. We don't have that kind of time.
That's a
feel
fair
like.
enough point.
Yeah, we
and I
don't
don't think I have the brain cells to
The
understand.
psychological
Adam's
fortitude
just
to really.
sobering up at the moment right now.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not able to comprehend population ethics. I'm not able to understand finances. It's a
I know
Oh,
you have 4
always sunny
roommates.
quote. Fuck.
Yeah, next time we'll bring a whiteboard. We'll get into it and we'll really.
Sounds good. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, there is a small white one, a small one in there.
I do have a whiteboard actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a small one. We're not gonna get into that.
I'd rather play tic-tac-toe on it right
yeah,
now.
it sounds dope.
It's a bit more.
actually. We
my
should get into
speed.
this cigar if we are going to, or save it for another time.
Man, I got work
Um,
at 9 in the morning, so
I gotta get up at 6. Don't even. All right, you get to sleep 3 more hours than I. All right.
3.
So from us here at the Pitchin' a Tent podcast,
The Pitchin' a Tent podcast.
we've had Chad Gallo, an extremely amazing guest with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming, man. Adam, you want to say something?
Thanks for listening to our
All right.
second episode on the first day of recording this podcast.
Absolutely.
But it was a
Second in
lot
on
of-
the first day.
Yeah, we stay tuned. Many more to come. It'll be fun. I've been Adam Lowry.
And I've been John Schenkel. This has been Pitchin' a Tent podcast, and I love you.